What's good, my idol monglers? Today, I have a very special video for you. So, I've been actually thinking about this video for a while. I don't know when it's going to come out. This will come out Monday, I believe. Because I filmed the video this will come out Monday. I've been thinking about this video for a while, and it is because I've been kind of going through the same thing, too. I have been in a manga reading slump. In December, last year, 2024, I read, 50 volumes that month. I read that's like a crazy amount for me. There's some motherfuckers that read 70 volumes. I don't know how they do that, but they do. I read 50. That was a crazy number for me. That was like the highest I read all year. So I was proud of that. I was proud of that number 50. And when I got to January 1st, for some reason, I didn't read. I just didn't read that much. And it wasn't even that I didn't have the time. It was more just, I would look at a volume and I had no motivation to do it. I had no motivation to read. And so I kind of wanted to make this video to, one, understand why I don't want to read. Well, I know why now because I thought about it and now I'm making the video for it. And two, I know some other people are also going through this as well. And I want to just give some tips and tricks kind of to, show maybe why you don't want to read manga anymore or how to get back into it. Now, I do think there are three main reasons why people stop reading manga in general. One, and this is what I'm not going to talk about very much because you can't really solve it, but it's you just grow out of it. Sometimes you grow out of hobbies, even if you spend a boatload of money, like me, you just grow out of it. It happens. You change as a person. You change as a human being. There's nothing wrong with growing out of a hobby. And I'm sorry, you can keep trying to get into it. You can keep trying to read more and different stuff. Sometimes things just aren't going to hit the same for you and you grow out of the hobby. That happens. Now, do I think, if you're watching this video right now and you're like, man, I just probably grew out the hobby. Do I think you actually grew out the hobby? No, I don't, because it's very difficult to do for you to just switch off in your brain, fuck, I hate manga now. That used to be that for anime. I used to love anime, and then I just grew out of it because I found manga, and I knew manga, in my opinion, is so much better. So now, I'm just the manga guy. But I grew out of anime. Number two reason why people don't really read that much manga, not anymore, but if you're not reading that much manga, is you kind of just forgot why you like manga in the first place. And that is going to lead to some of my tips as well. And then number three is you just haven't found anything that intrigues you, which I understand. So here are my 5 tips on reading more, getting into more manga, and just continuing that reading cycle. 1, generate curiosity. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is read manga that you understand have elements that you'll like. Actively search out manga that have elements that you've enjoyed in the past. So what I want you to do, this sounds like a fucking self-help video. What I want you to do, no. What I think is a good thing to do is to just take a step back and then look within yourself. What do I like about manga? What do some of my favorite manga have in common? What do some of my least favorite manga have in common? And try to stick to that. I know me personally, I love imagery, I love great character writing, I love a good plot, I love a simple story, but with fantastic characters, and I love incredible art. That is what I love in manga. And so, my favorites obviously appeal to that. I love emotional moments, I love a short, but also a well-detailed and concise story. I love when a story has great pacing, and I don't even know what else, but I love everything that what I just said about manga. So I'll dictate my taste to that. I looked at some manga that, were coming out. I remember I read Blue Box. I was like, I fucking love Blue Box. Maybe try some more romance manga that are, to the level of people are praising Blue Box. Okay, so I found out about Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You and The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. I found about those 2 manga, and I fucking love those manga. I mean, I have them both in my collection right now. So I do think a great way to just get back into reading is to cultivate a curiosity in what you like, what you dislike, and just sticking on what you like. Because more than likely, you're going to find something that you absolutely love. Number 2, and this one is a bit more specific. You can really take the first one with any hobby, but the second one is a lot more specific because there's a lot of these videos. But there are so many YouTube videos with manga recommendations in them. Go watch those. Go try them out. You don't have to look at a manga recommendation video and then stick by the 500 chapters that's included. You can read 2, 3, 4. There's no law in manga that says you have to read a certain amount of chapters before you can drop it. You could read fucking half the first chapter, say this is boring and drop it. That's fine. Be chaotic with your reading. If you like reading physical manga like me, you're reading the first volume, you're halfway through it. This shit is ass, kick it to the curb. Who cares about it? It's your collection, it's your reading. If you don't like something, you don't have to read it. I mean, obviously I'm gonna say this about some series where it's like, oh, you know, some of my favorite series don't start off like the best, but that it's not about like me or anyone else's opinions. You choose what you read. So if you're in a slump, just start reading stuff. Just start picking stuff up. Not like you don't have to just buy stuff, but you know, like if you have the Shonen Jump app or the K Manga app, just start reading some more obscure manga. Just explore your choices. Just explore everything you have. And number 3 is kind of related to that one as well, but it's to read the same manga that connect to your favorites. Now, what does that mean? What I mean is read manga that your favorite authors have made. So let's say your favorite author is Tatsuki Fujimoto, the author of Chainsaw Man. You read Chainsaw Man, you fucking loved it, and then you found out about his other manga that he made in Shonen Jump that isn't as, you know, decorative as Chainsaw Man was. So you read Fire Punch. You absolutely loved Fire Punch. Well, he has a shitload of short stories that you can read. Those are all great. There's Look Back, which got an incredible movie you can watch. There's not read. You can watch. You can read the manga of Look Back. I think Goodbye Area is his best work. You can read that. You can also, actually, funny enough, Tatsuki Fujimoto does this. I don't know if a lot of authors also do this, but Tatsuki Fujimoto will recommend manga on his Twitter. So you can go for those manga as well. Like, just branch out as much as possible. And if you've read all your favorite authors' works, go find where your author was an assistant and then go based off that too. Like, did you know that the Blue Lock artist was an assistant on Attack on Titan? And then the Attack on Titan author's favorite manga is written by the author of Blue Lock? Not Blue Lock, but it's written by the author of Blue Lock. Isn't that fucking insane? Just go and read stories that connect to your favorite authors, artists, editors, because you're going to find similarities between their stories and you're going to find that passion back that you had originally. I've done this before. I remember I was in a reading slump and I bought all of Hidden Closer by Haruo Asa, who is the author of Zom 100 and Alice in Borderland. And I love both of those manga to death. And I read Hidden Closer and I fucking love that shit. And I just kept reading after that because it just got me so much interested in it. So that is number 3. Number 4, this isn't really like a specific one, but it's just tailor your manga like to your tastes, if that makes sense. Like, I don't really know how to explain this one very well. It's just something I like came with mind before I started this video. But if you hear a manga is good, just go start it. This one also relates to number 2. But if you think like something is pretty good, just go read it. Like, again, the biggest like takeaway from this video that you should take away is you can decide when you drop, start, read, or whatever. You can decide that. It's no one else's choice. It's your own. You are the one that reads the manga. No one else is reading the manga for you, you know? Unless you're like an audiobook guy or whatever. But you are the one reading it. You decide what you do with it. So you can drop a manga, you can sell it, you can do whatever you want with it. But I think, in my opinion, you should tailor it to your taste. So if you're reading, let's say, a lot of action shonen or whatever, go and read something similar to that, but outside of it. Okay, I think I found the right words for it. I'm basically saying go read outside of your genre, but it's also like connected to your genre, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying if you're a big action guy, just go immediately to slice of life. No. I'm saying if you're an action guy, go read like a Dandadan that has action, but a bit of romance. It'll add like that little bit of substance that you've never really seen before, haven't really seen that much, and it'll be a lot more enjoyable for you, in my opinion. And then if you don't like it, you can drop it. You can just drop it. It's fine. And finally, wow, this video was very quick, but I mean, when it's this and I have no manga actual to talk about, it's a lot easier and I can get my points off very more concise, if that's even a way to say that. Number 5, and honestly, this is the biggest one I think people should consider, and I don't think a lot of people consider, it is to just stop reading entirely, and it is to take a break on reading. Because I promise you, you will eventually come back. Now, if you don't, what's the worst possible outcome if you don't go back to manga? Oh, if you're a physical reader like me, oh, you never read again? Okay, you sell all your manga, you're fine. You know, like, you grow as a person. You grow as a human being. If one of these days you just go, I'm not really interested in reading manga, and you do all these 4 tips I said and nothing really stands out to you, honestly, take a sabbatical. Like, just take a tiny break, like a month or something, and just come back to it and see how you feel. That is like the best advice I can give you, honest to God. If you are in a manga reading slump, this is what I did too. I, like, in March of last year, I read like 10 volumes an entire month. I read like nothing. And then the next month I also read nothing, and then the next month I read nothing. And then in July, I read like 40 or something volumes. Oh, excuse me. Just because I took like a very long break. Well, not like a concise break, but I took, a somewhat break from manga, and I came back and my love for manga reignited again. And I realized why I like manga so much, why I like reading so much, why like I connect to this stuff so much, and I read stuff that actually intrigued me, stuff that I was actually like I was enjoying. It was getting to a point where I was like reading manga, not even for the channel, but I was just reading manga because I read manga. You know what I mean? It's not like I understand when people, I'm not gonna say this, but I feel like there's this feeling in a lot of readers, but also watchers and TV show, people who watch TV shows, and a lot of people who consume media, where they pick a medium to focus on and then they just decide to pick that one. For me, it's manga, obviously. For me, it's manga. For some people, it's music. For some people, it's movies. For some people, it's books, whatever. But it wasn't even the idea of, I am the manga YouTuber, I need to read more manga. No, it was I just read manga. My hobby is manga, so I must read manga. And I kind of put myself in this trap of, I'm not really enjoying much that I'm reading. So, best advice I can give you, take a step back, look at the bigger picture and say, what is really, absolutely, the worst thing that can happen if I stop reading right now? Genuinely, if I stopped forcing myself to read, what is the worst thing that can happen? I get out of manga? Okay. It's not the end of the world. No one's gonna die. A meteor isn't gonna blow up the earth. We're all chilling. So, you step back, you come back week, 2, month later. You can come back 6 months later. You can come back a year later. And you can come back and you can still enjoy the medium and you're gonna be fine. Yeah, that's all my tips. That's all my tips and tricks. Honestly, I think they're good tips and tricks. They're ones that I've used over the 4 or 5 years I've been reading. Actually, has it been? I started in 2020, so yeah, it's been 5 years now. Over the 5 years I've been reading manga, I've used these tips concisely a lot of times because I've read so much, and yeah, that's it. Oh, bonus tip. Don't read manga because they're your manga goals. I said into this chat too, starting in 2024, I set a bunch of manga goals for the entire year, and I got burnt out because I was trying to hit these manga goals. Do not dictate your like, this stuff isn't math. You know what I mean? This stuff isn't like math, science, whatever. We're reading art here. This is art. I mean, that sounds pretentious as shit, but it's art. It's supposed to be consumed naturally. You can't just be like, well, I guess I'm gonna read Black Clover now. You know what I mean? It needs to come naturally to you because that's how the author intended you to read it. There's no, it's gonna fuck up the author-reader relationship there. It's really gonna fuck it up, and it's just not gonna help you. That's one of the biggest problems I face as well. So, bonus fact, do not stick to your manga goals. I mean, outweigh them, think about them. But if you're really I don't want to read this, don't read it. Just don't read it. And you can read something else, or you cannot read it all. Those are honestly my best ideas that I came up with. All right. Emoji, give me there's gotta be some kind of weed emoji, right? Like a weed, like a tobacco emoji. Put that one. I haven't smoked tobacco ever. Honestly, I kind of want to try. No, I'm not going to try it. I did it when I, was boxing super seriously. I never did it because I was trying to stay fit. I also never smoked. I never, drank or whatever when I was trying to stay like super fit. And then now that I'm more like doing my actual job and I'm doing this and I'm, trying to expand my brain or whatever, and I'm trying to be more literate, I don't really care that much about my physical health, which is probably a bad thing. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Bye.